Don't worry about the threat from China. They're not going to invade. I was actually offered a job in Hainan, on Hainan Island in China, and the pay was quite a lot more. Tired of being alone all the time.
Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. As I'm recording this, me and Uncle Topher are actually doing a Huandao all around Taiwan. But as all Huandao experienced travelers should know, when you do pass by Pingtung, you of course should take a stop at Daren University to have a chat with Dr. Taike. For those of you who don't know who you are, who are you and what are you doing here at this university?
I'm Mike from Montreal, Canada. Been in Asia teaching since 1997. So I've been teaching in lots of different countries such as Korea, Taiwan, Singapore, Indonesia, Australia, and Mongolia. Thailand as well. Teaching middle school and high school history and geography as well as English language arts here at Daren University.
Mongolia?
Yeah. That was a wonderful experience, culturally.
How do we get from Canada to not only just visiting, but you've actually worked in all these different countries as well? How do we get from Canada through the rest of the world and then end up here in Taiwan?
In 1997, the internet wasn't quite what it was, now. So I went to my university employment center and saw lots of job advertisements for Taiwan, Korea, and Japan. And there were more job offers in Korea, so I eventually went there. As the internet started developing, we found out more about Taiwan, so I eventually moved here. But then I eventually went to Australia and earned a few degrees and got myself into the international school game. And now I'm here, back in Taiwan.
If you would compare Taiwan with all the other countries, for someone who has not been in Indonesia, Mongolia, or Thailand, what makes you prefer and staying in Taiwan instead of the other places?
Taiwan feels like it's definitely East Asia, but it still has a lot of Southeast Asian elements to it. So the night markets, this great street food, how cheap it is, public transportation, the friendliness of the people. The other places were exciting and fun, Jakarta, Indonesia was a great experience as an expat. But there's a lot of great things about Taiwan, all those things I just said.
You said that it was great to be back in Taiwan now. Have you lived in other places in Taiwan as well before starting here at the university?
Yeah, absolutely. I lived in Tainan for 6 years, and that's where also my wife is from. So we always go back to Tainan. Historical city, it's the traditional capital of Taiwan. And she's also lucky because she lives really close to Jinhualu, which is where all the great food is in Tainan. So we're literally a 5-minute walk from some of the best food in the country.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so.
How is it here in Pingtung? Because I've lived in Taiwan for 14 years, but I've lived in Taipei for 14 years. So for me, when people say Pingtung, I think Hengchun and Kenting Beach. How is the rest of Pingtung, maybe compared to Tainan, or if you could make it easier for me, compared to Taipei and the rest of Taiwan?
Well, one cool thing about living in Pingtung is there are different cultures here. They actually call themselves Minam or Minnamren, the local Taiwanese. They actually have to make that distinguish because there are a lot of Hakka people that live here, and there's also a lot of Aboriginals. They don't stare at you here, but they're very friendly. They're very outgoing, willing to say hi to you on the street. Always extremely helpful, in supermarkets or at restaurants. The city of Pingtung itself is a little smaller than the average, Taiwanese city, but from what I've heard, it's a planned city. So there was a lot of urban development that went into this city. So I find it a lot calmer and there's hardly any traffic compared to say Tainan or other cities.
Taipei, yeah.
Right, yeah.
How would you say that your day-to-day life in Taiwan is different compared to those other places you've lived in?
I can get on my bicycle in the morning, go for a nice bike ride. Can't say I could do that in Mongolia.
Was it horse? No.
Well,
that's the only thing I know. It's Mongolia, horse, and Genghis Khan. That's
right.
What I'm having my picture in my head right now when you say Mongolia.
Yeah, if you're in the countryside, camel or horse absolutely is doable. There's a lot of pollution in Ulaanbaatar, as well as it gets really cold. Minus 40 is an average day or night there. So yeah, those daily little jaunts out on bikes or something, not doable.
If, for example, someone from Canada or your family or friends are watching this, thinking about coming here to Taiwan to either become a teacher or a student or just visit, what would you tell them? What is something that they should know before coming here?
Well, don't stress out over the price. Taiwan is extremely cheap. Food is very safe. I can't remember at the last time I got food poisoning in Taiwan, if even ever. And don't worry about the threat from China. They're not going to invade. You can check out some of his videos or Topher's videos about that. It's a pretty safe country in that sense. Yeah, it's great for, if you want to do some traveling. There's thousands and thousands of places to see in Taiwan, even though it's like technically such a small island. So, public transportation from city to city is super cheap and very, very fast. People are awesome, like really friendly, always willing to help you out.
If we now flip the page, so to speak, because you're not only a teacher, you're also a student. You are a PhD student and also a language student. How does your day look like here in the university, and what are you studying for? But before we talk about Mike's studies, I just wanted to let you know that if you are thinking about improving your English vocabulary or your English skills in general, then I hope you already heard about the sponsor of today's video, FUNDAY. Not only is FUNDAY a great online platform filled with tons of different tools to learn English on your own, for example by taking their mock TOEIC test all on your own time. They also offer real live classes every single hour between 6 a.m. and 2 a.m. Taiwan time.
If a Taiwanese person is traveling to, let's say, Japan or to Sweden, and they might try their milk and think that this is not milk.
Yeah, I know. And I had the same reaction when I first came to Taiwan. It's like, this is not real milk. And not only does it taste different, but also like if you look at the expiration date, because Swedish milk always expires after like 5 days. And then you come to Taiwan and sometimes it's like months in advance. And I'm like, this cannot be real milk. And even if you want to learn English after 2 a.m. or just catch up on one of the countless of classes they offer on their platform, you can now download all the video recordings from previous classes to watch or rewatch in your own time. They also have a wide variety of both different classes and also different levels of the classes. And as if that was not enough, they also have a scholarship lottery, which means that you can learn English and win prizes at the same time. As long as you purchase a course, you can participate in the lottery with a maximum prize of 30,000 Taiwanese dollars, and with more than 100 winners in total, there's a super high chance of winning. And if you do use the link down in the description, you can also get a discount up to 3,000 Taiwanese dollars. And if you do click the link down in the description, not only will you receive a free consultation call with FUNDAY so they can determine your exact current English level, you will also receive 2 FUNDAY classes for free, so you can try it out for yourself to see how fun learning English with FUNDAY actually is. And while you learn more about FUNDAY down in the description, we're gonna continue having a fun day here as well, with heading back down to Pingtung and continue with the rest of this video.
So I'm doing a PhD from UNISA, or the University of South Africa. My dissertation is on how YouTube, and specifically being a YouTuber, has improved Taiwanese people's English skills. And on the flip side, I also want to put myself in the shoes of a student. So I want to see what it's like to learn Taiwanese. And I also want to learn Hakka as well as some Aboriginal languages. I'm never going to become fluent in Hakka or Taiwanese, for example, but I'd like to learn more about the culture. So like I've sat down with a local Taiwanese business owner. I also want to really focus on the Taika culture specifically. Like go to a betel nut stand and talk to the guy wearing like a long white t-shirt with a mouthful of red binglan and just talk to him about his life. I also want to go to temples and learn about the Bajajio culture. The 8+9. So those are like basically little temple gangsters, and those guys are also full of tattoos. I'm really interested in this new thing where like even people who aren't Heisa Hui or gangsters, they have tattoos. Like a lot of young people have them. So I plan to interview like tattoo artists and people in that community. So really focusing on the local side. And I have a great nephew, his name's Leonardo. So Leonardo's been teaching me a lot of really great slang and very local terms.
What would be like the most common phrases, maybe for our visit here in Pingtung, but also something that me and Topher can use for the rest of our Huandao? What is like the top 3 phrases we should know?
Top 3, well, There's the typical things like li jia ba wei or li jia ba wei bo.
Have you eaten?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know this one. Yes.
Yeah, and then you can say jap bung, which is, let's eat rice. Those are just typical phrases. Yeah.
Okay.
If you want to break the ice with local Taiwanese, let's say you haven't seen them for a long time. In Chinese you would say like hao zhou bu jian, but in Taiwanese you would say li abe xia, which means literally like I haven't seen you for so long. Is your uncle still alive?
Okay.
And it cracks up everyone. Like there's not one person that won't almost bowl over laughing.
Brutal.
It
okay.
is brutal.
Okay. Speaking about learning new things, what is something that you wish you would have known about Taiwan before moving here?
Not buying clothing back home, just buy your clothing here because things are a lot lighter. Even me, as I lived here before, but I still bought clothing back home, and it's way too thick, because the weather here is really hot.
But like you're in my size. Like I don't find any clothes in my size anywhere.
Okay.
Do they have it here in Pingtung?
I think the store sounds like elephant in Chinese. Yeah. It's actually a store I went to in Tainan. Yeah.
Southern Taiwanese people, like the greeting phrases is "Has your uncle died?" and then clothes for big people is elephant something. Okay. Maybe we're jumping back and forth now, but when did you live in Taiwan? You said 6 years in Tainan. What year is that?
That was from 2000 to 2005.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you lived here 2000 to 2005. Then you went out traveling around the world, and then you came back to Taiwan.
Right.
So what brought you back to Taiwan specifically instead of another country, for example?
Well, I was actually offered a job in Hainan, on Hainan Island in China, and the pay was quite a lot more. Tired of being alone all the time. Hainan Island would have been another experience where I was, on my own. And this year specifically, my wife is actually still in Korea, so I'm sort of a quasi-bachelor here.
Okay.
Here in Pingtung, I'm quite literally alone as well, but I have my family, my in-laws in Tainan. I've never really lived in a country where I had in-laws. So this is sort of it's a nice experience for me to have that family.
Are you hanging out with them without your wife, who is in Korea?
Right.
How is a good son-in-law in Taiwan? Do you have any pro tips you can give me, especially without having your wife there as well? Because she's kind of like my safety net when I'm with the family. And one day is when they offer me a countless 5 pans of just meat, And I'm like, okay, I need you to tell your mom to stop giving me food because I'm full right now.
You have to show your mother-in-law, your parents-in-law that you're a good hard worker. They don't appreciate somebody who's slacker. That's 100% sure. They're going to be tough on you like any in-laws, but because you're quote unquote taking their daughter away. So you have to show them that you're a good, decent man. Maybe bring your family over or invite them to Sweden to meet your in-laws, or your family. Maybe they will meet them at the wedding. But
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope that both families will come to the wedding for sure. Yes.
Yeah. Right. So that's an important aspect. I remember my father-in-law saying, "It's so weird. You're marrying my daughter, and I haven't even met your parents," and he never met them. But my mother-in-law met them. My parents came here, and then my mother-in-law went back to Canada and America, so she got to meet them twice, and so that was really important for her. Yeah, just always be humble, and I guess I don't know if you drink or not. Do you have...
I don't actually.
Oh, you don't. That's a good thing. So
bonus points for mother-in-law.
So you don't want to show her that you're drinking, so that's a good thing. I find myself more gentlemanly when I speak English, more emotionless when I speak Mandarin. I'm very sort of solid, but when I speak Taiwanese, my fun side comes out, and I find the people are a lot like that too when they speak Taiwanese.
Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, because I was just gonna ask you as well, from a research scientist point of view, you're focusing on Taiwanese people and English learning, but you're also focusing on the Taiko culture as well.
Yes. That's going to be a big focus, or that is sort of becoming a focus of my YouTube channel. And I've got a great outlet in my nephew, who is pretty taika. He's about 30, 31 years old. So he used to be a Bajia Jio, but now he's a taika. So, and he takes me scuba diving. Luckily, I'm in Pingtung, so I don't have to go very far. And then when he gets together with his buddies, it's like 10 guys just, being really silly and speaking a lot of Taiwanese, a lot of Balio Dabi, a lot of Taiwan Pijo and beetle nut or Bing Lang, and we have a great time. So I've been experiencing this a lot over the years, coming back for vacations. So I just said I was going to make a YouTube channel anyway, and I was going to do a PhD anyway. So I figured, why have two projects? Just have one, right? And so I combined the two.
And of course, if that's something that you want to see more of, you have, of course, all the possible links in the description below, including the link to Dr. Taika's YouTube channel. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Lucas. Starts with L as in like, ends with S as in subscribe. Please do both, and see you all in the next one.
Dageha.